It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. Welcome to Mind Your Business.
Glad to be back.
Yes, I'm glad you're back. I have with me Kori Hypolite. You are the founder of Bloom. Mm-hmm. Now, we met when you were in our Enterprise Bermuda Incubator program for your business Equilateral Studios. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk a little bit about Bloom and the difference and what you've been doing since then. But if you could just remind us of who you are.
Okay. So my name is Kori. I am the founder and creative strategist of Bloom, which is a branding and design studio. Should I look at you?
Yeah.
Branding and design studio geared for health and wellness businesses.
Okay. So when we originally met, it was Equilateral Studios. So tell me what led you to Bloom and how does it differ from what you were doing before?
Okay, so originally Equilateral Studio had a philosophy, and it was holistic branding. Yeah. So there was 3 elements that I was working with: brand strategy, brand identity, and digital marketing. And if those pieces align, they should create an equilateral triangle. That's right. It sounds ideal, right? And then, I had a couple of businesses I was working with, and I decided to, as part of my expansion, seek other creative leaders in the industry. So I employed Michael Janda, who has been sort of like a mentor in that space. Okay. And he ripped it apart. He was like,
you need a good old stress test, right?
He was like, equilateral is a mouthful, and I get the concept, but it does not speak to health and wellness the way you think it does.
Right.
And I've learned that in, just as a creator and a designer, studying design, that you can't really diagnose your own problems. So it was the best thing that I did. And he basically was like, maybe you should reposition. Do a little bit more research into your market because your identity is not aligning with your customer, your clients. And so I did that in 2021 and 2022. I did take a break, but during that time I did a lot of research. Okay. It was slow, but it was still moving. I never actually really gave up. I joined a couple of mastermind agencies that helped me figure out the positioning and connect with my target audience a bit. And then in end of 2022, I decided to rebrand, and that was the birth of Bloom.
Well, I mean, I think the name is fitting, by the way. Yes. And I think, he was right in that right away you understand what it is and what you do. Yeah. So can you talk about kind of what you want Bloom to be and what you want it to represent, and how, if it does, differ from what you were doing with Equilateral? Like, do you have any new services or things that you have added to your offering to make Bloom Bloom?
Yeah, so Bloom does represent growth and transformation. So that's where that stems from. Yeah. And we've really just refined the process. So whereas when I was working with Equilateral Studio, the purpose behind working within the health and wellness industry was because I was in the beginning of my entrepreneurship journey, and I wanted to find a way to fuel my passion as well as my skill set. But then as I continued to do research and I worked with more of these mastermind agencies, I recognized that the purpose has to be more about the client than me. And so I decided that, I actually align with the missions of these clients, and Bloom's mission aligns with them. So I decided to refine my strategies and to come up with strategic framework that was tested on clients that I had before so that I can refine those strategies. I also have different service packages that are specific to whether or not you need your brand strategy, or you need to fix your messaging or your target market, or if you need to fix your design and your identity. I've broken those up into different packages. It's a lot less, you need all of this to be successful, and more so, let me hear about what your problems are.
Yes.
Let me talk to you about what I've done in this space and the research I've done that I think can help you. So it's just a lot more refined. There's more purpose there. There's more intent, more research, more leadership behind it.
I think it's important. It's almost like it's a bespoke solution for each client, right? As opposed to like this cookie cutter package that everyone needs. Not everybody needs the same type of support. So it sounds like you're providing a more intimate, for lack of a better word, support service to these industries. Now, why specifically like health and wellness, as opposed to why can't you help everybody, right? Well, every business.
Well, I can help everyone if they're into health and wellness. But that's the way that the market is growing, right? Our consumers are way more educated. They know that the products and services that they bring into their lives needs to be purposeful. And so that's where we come in. We help you recognize, how is this bringing purpose? How does this improve your consumer's lifestyle? How is it helping their health? How is it helping their wellness? Those are the demands of the consumers today. So if you are jumping on board to health and wellness, if you are incorporating that in your business, you're blooming.
Yeah. Oh, so cute. So I know that during this process and in between, you became a mom. And so now you're a mother and an entrepreneur, and just wondering how that shift or change has impacted you and the decisions that you made for Bloom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So much. Being a mom has brought me a lot of clarity and purpose, and also balance, perspective. I think perspective is the word that I would use. It's shifted my perspective to understand how to balance my personal life and my career, but when I was with Equilateral, I thought that burnout was hand in hand with entrepreneurship, and it is most certainly not, because if you are burnt out, how can you run your business? And it's the same with being a mom. If I'm burnt out, how can I raise my child? So it has brought a lot of perspective in how to prioritize things. I work from Bloom in the morning. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, my son is with his dad, and those are my studio days where I power through from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But the rest of the days when I have my son, I work specific hours, and if I don't get things done, I get it done tomorrow.
Right.
It's taking that leadership within myself and saying, you are the boss, and some things, they don't get done today. Some things have to wait till tomorrow, so that I can respect myself, respect my son, and continue to grow. I mean, you can't grow being burnt out, if you ask me. There's no room, right? So I would definitely say perspective. Being a mom has shifted my perspective and my understanding with self-care, prioritizing that above anything else so that I can perform.
Yeah, and I would imagine that your clients probably have a similar, reality, right? They may be mothers, they may be solo entrepreneurs, and so I feel like it creates an opportunity for you to say, I get it. Like, you're not preaching to the choir. I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
And so your learnings can help them, because, like you said, some people do think that if you're not grinding all the time, every time, then you're not, you're not really being an entrepreneur successfully.
Yeah.
And that's not the case, because you still need You're the delivery of the information.
You need to be swift.
Yes.
You need to be swift. And burnout does not encourage swiftness.
Yeah.
It's like lots of drained energy and you're tired and you lose sight of things really fast. And that's funny that you mentioned that, because I actually had a client that literally just told me spoke to her yesterday. She chose me because I'm a mom. She chose me over another studio because I'm a mom and I can relate to the project that she's doing.
Yep. It's true.
Yeah.
So I think definitely, especially in the space that you're in, I think that matters, because when you're talking about health, you're thinking holistically, and wellness holistically is not just physically what you look like, right? There's so many facets of that we sometimes forget about when we're in the day-to-day grind trying to make things happen.
Yeah, and another thing that I went on a journey with the switch between Equilateral and Bloom was with personal development, is my own mental state and belief in myself, because you need confidence to build a business, and you need confidence to tell other people how to build their brands, right? And so like many women, there's a bit of a shift that happens after you have a child. So, connecting back to my inner self, my inner confidence was, the best thing that I could do for my business.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you said that. One of the things that I think is also important, especially in Bermuda, especially in this industry, is the whole component of networking and engaging the community, right? Because Bermuda by itself is relatively small compared to a lot of other jurisdictions. So how do you, or what do you do in terms of ensuring that you're engaging and getting the message out there about Bloom and the services that you offer?
Okay, so I am heavy on organic connections. I'm heavy on authenticity. And so in the beginning, this was actually one of my challenges, because I grew up in the States. I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina at 14, and I didn't return home until 28. So, Bermuda is all about who you know.
Yes.
I had a big space community of people when I was in my younger teens, but, everyone had grown up, so I didn't have that connection. I had more of a connection with international clients and businesses in the health and wellness space. And so I really did try to figure out how I can get local connections, because it is smaller. It's room for more opportunity. And so I started talking to brand owners and business owners that are already in the space and already doing good things. I know Cassine Shop sparked a lot. They do a lot in the community for the health and wellness space. And then something that I've been doing since I had Equilateral was holding internships, so that the future today's students are tomorrow's strategists, right? And so getting them in the space early, I've held 3 different internships and pushed through about 15 interns.
Oh, that's impressive, girl.
Globally. So they were not just Bermudian. I did have one Bermudian intern, Ezra. She was amazing. She did intern with me right out of Bermuda, and she was my first intern. But I have had a lot of interns all over. I wanted to work with international and local interns, so I can kind of just connect the spaces,
Right.
So yeah, that's my mission. I'm holding another internship this year. I have a girl, she's Bermudian. She's studying in the UK to be, she's studying communications PR.
Yes.
And she'll start in June.
That's
she'll
exciting.
Work with me in June and July, and this is just something that I'm going to continue to do.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's good in that you're creating opportunities for young people to get the experience that, when they're looking for their first job, they're like, you need experience. You're like, well,
I've been in school.
Right. Like, how exactly am I supposed to get that?
That's what I faced. I came back here and no one would hire me. So I was like, well, I'll hire me.
I know,
and then I'll hire everyone else.
I know, that's right. She said, I'll hire me. And that's sometimes what it takes. I think especially in Bermuda, in sort of a creative space, there aren't that many doors that are open for you, right?
Especially if you're not big on the scene.
Yeah.
I know people that came back and right away they were right into it, but
They
had
people.
been in Bermuda.
Yeah.
So it was a challenge for me, but I did it a different way. I'm organic. I just went out to these different business owners and formed relationships, and then I formed relationships with students that are graduating.
So in terms of your client base and identifying who they are, what is your approach? So I heard you mention that, you have this international network, which is great because we want people to scale outside of Bermuda. But speaking specifically to the local kind of health and wellness community, outside of, meeting and speaking with certain people, what do you do objectively to capture that market share, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So over the last 2 years, I have been working with clients that I started with in 2020. Mayfair Wellness is one of them. She's like really pushed me far, really, because whatever she needs, I do a lot of research for myself and for Bloom, so we can provide that. So the client retention rate is what pushed me to say, okay, I am unique here.
Yeah.
There are a couple of branding and design studios that exist, but they're all doing the same thing. They're targeting the overall market. I have an opportunity to speak to my audience, so that's what I'm going to do. So my content is industry related. Everyone's sharing marketing content or branding content. I share industry related content. This is what your consumers want.
Right.
And we'll show you how to get there. Right. So industry specific related content, speaking directly to the audience that I'm targeting and letting them know we're the only ones here. We're the only ones in Bermuda. Yeah, I'm the only brand strategist in Bermuda that really wants to help health and wellness businesses. So I hone in on that. I use that as my differentiator, my secret sauce. It is our unique proposition.
Yeah. So when you talk about that, I think that is great because I do think that that's needed. For that client, though, what specifically can you speak to that they need that maybe others wouldn't, right? So, like, what is the thing that health and wellness or someone in that space requires that the average, I don't know, retail owner or something wouldn't?
Yeah. So I think it depends on what the offering is, but what I put it down to is the authenticity. I think the health and wellness space, the challenges that the businesses are facing is building the trust.
Yes.
Because it's become a cliche space. It's gimmicky. So how do you build that trust? So our focus is really about differentiation and authenticity.
Okay.
And as simple as it seems, it really matters. Like working with health and wellness businesses that understand their unique value is very important because then we can go and say, okay, so I had a skincare client and she didn't just offer moisturizing solutions, she offered a solution for eczema.
Okay.
That is something we can focus on, right?
Right.
How can we separate ourselves? Like your skincare product is just for eczema.
Right.
And while that client went on a different path, there are clients like that help me structure different strategies for new clients, right? So for skincare clients, I do have specific brand strategies that I would love to share if you have a skincare business.
So holla.
So contact them. For mental wellness practitioners, I have learned that there is a big stigma in Bermuda. A challenge for mental health practitioners is getting men to prioritize their mental health. So there's things like that. If men don't want to prioritize mental health, but it is something that's important, how can you speak that message? Right. You need to be authentic. You don't need to just say, hey, come talk to me. You really have to educate men in a fun, creative way so that the message could get across. So it's just it's about knowing your audience. And I know it because most store fronts and brands should know their audience, but you can also get away with kind of serving anybody, right? If you offer anything.
Yeah.
When you are specific, when you do have a niche, you have got to be as authentic as possible.
And become an expert in that. So since, or through the process, it can be whether when you were equilateral or Bloom, can you speak to like one of your most exciting projects or a success story from where you met with and worked with an entrepreneur? And
Yes.
okay.
So a success story. So I'm again big on networking and building authentic relationships. So my network came like all of a sudden because I had just been talking to different people. I had a project, a wellness candle brand located in LA. This girl connected with me from a friend that I went to high school with, and she reached out and she was like, I love your work and I want to work with you. And it was a very exciting project. She wanted to create, it's because it was working with the senses. That's why I felt like it was exciting. She wanted to create a feeling through scent as well as her packaging for the candles. And that was like, wow, that's amazing. Like, how can we like really make people feel connected to your candles? And she had just gone on a trip to Bali and Indonesia and I forget India. And she wanted to make those countries relate to the scents. So she was working on scents that reminded her of India.
Right.
And then it was my job to find the creative direction for that. And so we built out packaging. We built out an entire marketing system. It was actually my third client.
Okay.
And it was my most memorable project because I just remember her being so passionate about taking a candle and taking a candle and seeing how it could help people. Like, how, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, how can a candle help people?
Right.
And she had all of these different ideas, and it just sparked a lot in me as far as the research that went behind it. Like, aroma is actually a very therapeutic.
Yeah.
And memory is linked to scent.
Exactly.
And like, you know, it's took me down this whole journey of like, wow, candles can really change your life.
Right.
And you don't even know that, right? Candles can change your life. She sent me a candle. It was and when she dropped, she sold out in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she was ambitious, right?
Yeah.
And that matters. She, you know, I have very ambitious clients, but with her, she had a unique product, and she wanted to really bring something that connects your senses to her product, and she did it. I helped her do that, and it was great. It was a learning opportunity. It opened my eyes to different things, to unique messaging. She's a copywriter as well, so I had collaborated with her down the line on different projects that were health and wellness candle related. And her biggest thing was like, you know, are you sending, like, are these candles helpful? Because you can also buy candles, and if you burn them, depending on the quality of the wax, it can actually harm you. Yeah, so you might be burning wicks that have toxins in them.
Oh, no.
Candles that have toxins in them, and you don't even know, so they're harming you.
Right.
You're also not supposed to burn candles past their burning times. She was educating her market on that because it could create toxins.
What is
in
a
the
candle burning time? Had no clue that was a thing.
Exactly, right? Burning times. Like, you would see it. It should be on the packages how long the burning time is before it, like,
starts.
No longer, it like works, or it should be finished or something.
I'm thinking you burn it. Burning time is how long it takes you to get to the bottom of the candle.
And her packaging will let you know not to have this candle burning for 8 hours.
Right. Interesting. Had no idea. Yeah. See, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into products and services and how they actually alter people's lives.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you take the approach of doing the research so that you know, and you're speaking from a place of authenticity, which I think in this instance, it sounded like it was extremely important.
Yes.
Right? Because you're trying to convey this feeling. Maybe no one's ever been to India. So how do you do that?
How do you bring India in this person's house?
Right.
It was wonderful. It was great. It's one of my best projects.
I love that. So based on that, I would imagine there were a lot of learnings from it.
Yeah.
And you did mention something in your answer about collaboration. And so what's your opinion of collaboration over competition?
Oh, I believe in synergistic communities. I believe in like-minded goals. If you have similar goals, you can work together to accomplish your mission a lot quicker. So that's my standpoint, and that's what I want to do for Bloom. I think that Bermuda has done a great job at creating a health and wellness community amongst consumers. And now I want to do this amongst businesses so that they can work together to push that a bit further, and we can, create this healthier environment.
And do you find that businesses are receptive to that?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I actually, surprisingly, yes. And I don't know that it's my attitude, and I attract other women that have that similar attitude, but I work with multiple mental health professionals who have referred me to other mental health professionals. I've worked with multiple wellness lifestyle brands that have referred me to other wellness lifestyle brands. So yeah, I think in this particular community space, they are receptive to working together.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think it is necessary sometimes because, like you said, what you're doing is a little bit different than what someone else can do. So it doesn't mean, I think there's enough for everybody.
Yeah,
right?
and it's a fast-paced growing industry. It's like, it's huge, right? Yeah. And it's the tomorrow.
Yeah. So you want to be on the ahead of
we're in the forefront.
Yeah.
We're up there with the research and becoming brand ambassadors with the Global Wellness Institute. That is our next goal, is to create these partnerships outside to bring governance.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So what would that look like?
So there is a Global Wellness Institute, and they encourage businesses to set a particular or follow these particular standards, which would then separate authentic health and wellness businesses from those that are just interested.
Saying, that they're doing stuff. Because if you don't tell me how long to burn my candle, then you're not real. You just perpetrating.
Yeah, or you're a skincare brand offering clean beauty, but your packaging says otherwise.
Right. And I guess that's interesting, and I think we're in a unique situation in Bermuda, talking about packaging and products and stuff, because we're on an island and everything needs to be imported. A lot of times we're reliant on others or what others say, and then you get it and you're like, well, this isn't really what I want to represent my brand. So I would ask you the question, how important is it that the whole thing, from like what's inside the bottle to what the bottle is made out of to the label, how important is that for when building the brand for a business, that it all be
sustainable and wellness related? Yeah. It's 100% important. And sustainability and wellness is a trend, but with Bloom, it's a necessity.
Okay.
And so when you work with Bloom, if you're a skincare package, if you're a skincare company, for example, we are sourcing from your strategy all the way to your printers. Right. Your printers are wellness provided. Your printers are eco-friendly. Your packaging providers are eco-friendly, and they're conscious of their carbon footprint and following ESG guidelines. It's 100% important for the authenticity of your brand. If you claim that you're clean beauty, everything from the way that you speak to your audience to what you the ingredients in your products to how you're packaging your products is very important.
I would agree because people in this day of cancel culture where people do their research and they'll call you out, well, so and so wasn't doing, so you have to make sure that you can stand up to the test. So what do you envision for Bloom? Like what's next?
Okay, so what's next for Bloom? Big things. For Bloom, We are starting to get more recognition for being the health and wellness branding studio. So I definitely want to be the leader of the wellness space. So Bloom will definitely be the leader. And I see, like, when health and wellness businesses emerge, or when they want to rebrand, or when they want to connect, they think Bloom.
Right.
And the things that I have lined up for Blooms that I aspire, like I said, to create the community with synergistic community of businesses, not just the consumers, but the businesses. So we have these vegan events, and we have these vendor events for the businesses to come and connect with their consumers, but we don't have those events for businesses to connect with each other and see what goals that they could help each other reach. I know that I'm gonna keep going back to skincare, but skincare is not just about the products that you put on externally, it's about internally. So are there, opportunities for these juicing companies to work with these skincare companies and provide a juice that is specific to clearing up your skin? Right. There are so many opportunities to collaborate. To collaborate and create these products or services in this space.
So, in that regard, how is Bloom going to help to create the opportunity for these businesses to work with each other?
So we are reaching out to different businesses in the space and seeing, what they want. So we're doing a little bit of market research that's very personable.
Okay.
I'm going and I'm introducing myself as Bloom's founder and creative strategist, and letting these businesses know what I do.
Okay.
And then we have plans to offer platforms and spaces for these businesses to connect.
Awesome. So how can they connect with you?
How can they connect with me? Okay, so we have an Instagram, Think Bloom. I am also on Instagram. My name is Kori Hypolite, and you can visit think-bloom.com. You can cut this out. I was about to say you can give me a call, but I forgot where I was. So those are the 3 ways you could connect. We have a website, and we're heavy on social media. More so my personal brand right now. We just relaunched started taking in clients in January.
Okay.
So when I first started, I quit my corporate job in July, and I gave myself a 4-month launch phase.
Okay.
So that I didn't feel so, I need to get out there right now. I needed to fix the business internally. I needed to connect with my clients internally and then build out externally. So we do have a website, and we will be active on social media, Bloom social media in due time, but I am active on my personal page. I am on LinkedIn. I'm heavier on LinkedIn today or this week than I was last week, and it'll continue to improve. But LinkedIn is my space.
Okay.
So reach out. I'm here. I'm available. I'm Kori Hypolite.
Yes.
Just type that in.
And your name will come up.
And I'm here.
Okay. Well, I think it's wonderful. Some of the things that you said, I think it's great advice for people considering entrepreneurship. Like, give yourself time, give yourself SMART goals. So you gave yourself 4 months to launch, and within that time, you have a series of things that you want to do and want to accomplish. So I think that's a great way to go about it, right? To make sure that you're dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and that nothing goes missed. But then there's always opportunity for continuous improvement and growth, right?
Yeah, if I had, there was something on here that said, what would you offer, like, young, aspiring entrepreneurs? And I came up with this affirmation that I'm doing my best, and there's always room for improvement. And so that covers all sort of anxiety or imposter syndrome. It's like, I know I push myself daily, so I know that I'm doing my best. And I understand that there's room for improvement, so there's no need to fear mistakes.
Right.
Fail fast.
Yeah.
Fail fast so you can learn
from it and keep it moving.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you, Kori.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you came. And for sure, please do come back and give us updates, because I definitely want to hear more about the different types of things that you have in store for Bloom, and how you can support the health and wellness business journey or business group in Bermuda and beyond, really.
Yeah.
Well, we minded our business. And remember, if you don't mind your business, who will? Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.